Is the Alienware 18 Area 51 gaming laptop really the right choice for you? Or is it a pricey overkill that you could skip? Who actually benefits from that 18-inch chassis, a desktop-class RTX 5070, and an Intel Core Ultra 9275HX? And does a gamer on a typical budget get enough bang for the buck? If you're sitting on the fence because the price tag looks like a small workstation, keep listening. I dug into how this beast behaves on a real desk, how it fits into a daily routine, and where the hidden trade-offs lie. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the size. An 18-inch screen is a double-edged sword. On one hand, the extra real estate means you can actually see the details in a game without squinting, and it doubles as a decent portable monitor for a quick video edit or a spreadsheet when you're away from a desk. On the other hand, that footprint makes the laptop feel more like a mini tower you have to wrestle onto a coffee table or a cramped couch. In my own setup, I keep it on a sturdy laptop stand with a USB-C hub tucked underneath. The stand solves the wobble that a heavy chassis tends to have, but you still need a dedicated spot. It's not something you can comfortably slip into a backpack for a commute. The heart of the machine, the RTX 5070 paired with the Core Ultra 9, delivers the kind of raw horsepower you'd expect from a mid-range desktop. In titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Starfield, the frame rates sit comfortably in the 7,090 frames per second range at 1080p with ultra settings, and they hold steady at 60 frames per second when you crank the resolution up to 1440p. That performance translates directly into a smoother experience if you're a competitive player who relies on split-second reactions. The intelligent processing feature, which basically means the laptop's AI-driven power management, helps keep the GPU from spiking to its maximum wattage during long sessions, so the fan noise stays in the low to mid-30 dB rather than turning the room into a wind tunnel. One of the more unique selling points is the Cryo-Chamber cooling system. In theory, the liquid-based heat sink should keep temperatures lower than a conventional fan-only design, and in practice, I noticed a consistent 510C advantage during a 3-hour marathon of Battlefield V. The benefit is most apparent when you're pushing the laptop hard. You'll see less thermal throttling, and the chassis stays warm, but not scorching. The trade-off is that the Cryo-Chamber adds a bit of bulk to the base, and you have to keep the ventilation ports clear. A simple dust cover on the underside is enough to avoid performance dips over time. Comfort is another angle Dell tried to address. The keyboard comes with perky RGB backlighting and a slight concave sculpt that reduces finger fatigue after extended typing or key mashing. The trackpad is large enough for precise navigation, but I found myself reaching for an external mouse most of the time because the size of the laptop makes the palm rest feel cramped. The speakers are tuned for a louder, more immersive output, which is nice if you're gaming without a headset, but they still lack the depth you'd get from a dedicated sound system. So if you plan to rely on the built-in audio for long gaming nights, consider a pair of headphones. Now let's talk about the everyday buyer, the person who isn't a pro sports athlete but enjoys a few titles after work. For them, the biggest question is whether the performance edge justifies the price. The rating on Amazon hovers around 3.8 out of 5, which signals that while many users are happy with the raw power, there are enough concerns to keep the average shopper cautious. The most common practical weakness that surfaces is battery life. Even with the power-saving modes enabled, you're looking at roughly 2 to 3 hours of unplugged gameplay at medium settings. That's fine if you plan to stay near a power outlet, but it's a clear drawback for anyone who expects a gaming laptop to double as a mobile workstation for a full day. Another hidden cost is the upgrade path. The Area 51 line historically offers user-replaceable RAM and storage, and this model continues that tradition. You can add a second NVMe SSD or bump the RAM up to 64 gigabytes, but you'll need to open the bottom panel, which is not as intuitive as a tool-free latch. For a buyer who likes to future-proof without buying a brand new machine every year, that's a plus. However, the initial configuration already starts at a price point that rivals a mid-range desktop with a dedicated monitor, so the upgrade flexibility may feel like a marginal benefit.